Mr. Soul.
Yeah.
That's right. Mr. Soul. It will be debuting on PBS on February 22nd. Check your local listings. Now, Mr. Soul. So this show debuts on Net 13 out of New York City. Public Broadcasting. Back in 1968, right? It debuts just a few months after the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Be clear to say that altogether. The visionary behind it is Ellis Hazlitt, right? Hazlitt, right? He is the innovator behind it. This is him right here in the inset there in the thing, right? Ellis Hazlitt, right? His niece, Melissa Hazlitt, created this film, this documentary. This is a 10-year labor of love. When she started on it way back 10 years ago, they told her you shouldn't try to do this because it's going to be impossible to clear all of the music that was on the show, to be able to get all the people, get the record labels, get the publishing companies, get the copyright owners, all of that to sign off on this being seen, heard, recognized, and appreciated in 2020 when the film originally released, but we're in 2021 now. She did this thing, and this is another tour de force documentary. I mean, you see people on there in their youth. You see Al Green at 25 years old. When Al Green was singing on that white album cover, he's sitting in the white wicker chair with the white suit, white turtleneck, white shoes, with the black trim all the way around. He was 25 years old. 25 years old, and you see these people. You see Stevie Wonder, right? You see The Last Poets. You see Nikki Giovanni,
James Baldwin.
You see what's happening. You see Muhammad Ali,
Harry Belafonte,
Sidney Poitier, and these people that are in their prime at the time that this is being done. You see modern dance. You see. We call it spoken word today, but it was poetry. You see, and it's uncut raw.
The Minister.
That's right. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is on an episode, right? Stokely Carmichael is on an episode.
Cicely Tyson.
Cicely Tyson. I mean, this is like truly. This documentary is something that you will enjoy watching, right? Let me run it down. Let me run down some more to you real quick, right? He believed in Ellis Hazlitt. He believed in giving voice to the voiceless, right? The opening of the documentary, there is stock footage, right? And you hear Blair Underwood as Ellis Hazlitt. He does a great job of voicing.
One of the executive producers.
Right. He does a great job of voicing Hazlitt. He sounds a lot like him, and so I thought that they took footage and put the Echoplex behind it to give it that fullness, but it was actually Blair Underwood. Blair Underwood, the white women's catnip, right? He still keeps his bona fides. He's got his black wife, his black children. You know what I mean? But anyway, back to this. So it starts out with archive footage, and you hear Ellis Hazlitt's voice saying that for the Caucasian, every station they see themselves. There's not one station where you can see American. He didn't say American blacks. I'm saying that, I'm paraphrasing. American blacks, right? So in the middle of all that, they show you what was happening, the violence, the dogs being sicked on people, Vietnam War, and what interrupts that in 1968 is Soul, the Soul talk show, where it was more than just a talk show, because it was a show about American black culture.
Yes, that's what I was. Yes.
In 1968, it ran between 1968 and 1973. It is a show about American black culture.
Right.
The documentary again debuts on February 22nd, 2021. Right. Stan Lathan. Here's some people behind the scenes. One of the people behind the scenes. Stan Lathan. Right. He was a producer on the show. He went from this show out to Hollywood to direct episodes of, guess what show?
Was it Sanford and Son?
Sanford and Son. So you see the experience of being a producer on this show, where it was about black excellence, pushed through to him being out in Hollywood, and we know what Stan Lathan has done. Now we know what his daughter Sanaya Lathan has done, right? Let's see what else. Again, it was a 10-year labor of love for Mr. Soul to come out, right? This is her uncle. She must have loved her uncle.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about it? Because I want your perspective to tell people what they are going to see on this, right?
You know, that's why I said this is, and we've done multiple episodes of the film review. We've been reviewing films for years, but this is the first time ever that I have ever said this is our gift to our audience, because this is a beautiful film. This documentary gives you, if you were someone, right, from another country, if you were from another planet, right, watching this would give you a taste of American black culture, right? He covers everything, and you learn so much, right? And it's just, you just have this great feeling about a group of people who, through no matter what obstacles have been thrown before them, they still rise, right? With so much intelligence and wisdom and talent, and just still pushing the culture today, right? So definitely this show needs to be put in a time capsule, right? Along with Hidden Colors. There are just certain documentaries and films that are just, they just explain American black culture.
That's right.
And we definitely have culture. So for those who say we don't, are a lost people, right?
Yeah.
But this right here is just beautifully done. And when you told me that his niece put this together for him, I said to you, I said she loved her uncle. Because this is a labor of love. She just didn't, you can tell the difference, because we review many projects, right? And you can tell when something has been like just thrown together, right? But this is definitely a labor of love, because you not only see like interviews and the different conversations that he had with different people he talked to, you learn about his personal life as well, you know, and you learn about her family, other family members, and how this is beautiful. So this is definitely like our gift to you all, and everyone must see this film. This documentary is a must see.
February 22nd on PBS, right? Listen. If See, the reason why we constantly continue to advance, even though the obstacles are put before us, is there is a reference and a understanding, middle standing, overstanding of knowledge of where we've been.
Right.
They're trying to put a detach in so that the generations after Generation X won't have that information.
Right.
We told you before, because we talked about this on #ObservationsTFR, and we also talked about it last week in the first list of 20 of thick Black History Month movie list part 1, right? We talked about it, and we talked that you can go to Amazon Prime, put in Mr. Soul, and you will come to the Soul episodes, and you can watch all of the Soul episodes. They are up to watch on Amazon Prime, and I have a sneaking suspicion that after it debuts on PBS, that it'll probably go up on Amazon Prime and go along with the various episodes that you can watch if you're an Amazon Prime member. Soul, the Soul, SOUL exclamation point.
Yeah.
Soul, Mr. Soul, right?
Because this is a great film, right? Because I said, what did I say to you earlier? I said, I don't want to wait to see it again on PBS. I said, let's just, just to support, just purchase it.
Film, and we purchased
and
it.
Yeah, and we're going to purchase it again and watch it
again.
this week.
Just to support, you know what I mean? Because that's what we do, we support. So I say all that to say that if you want your children, you want these next generations to be able to not only survive, not get all mixed up in all this coming down the board with the 11 million dreamers and the 50,000, the 90,000 refugees and the 500,000 Indians from India. We don't want them all mixed up in that and being diluted. Have them watch this. Matter of fact, you probably didn't know it, and so you need to put that into your vocabulary and listen and catch up. Because
if they don't have kids, nieces, nephews, cousins,
or just for yourself, so you can be on board, you will know what's going on. Because what was happening then is still happening now, because people did not take what was being disseminated then seriously. Plus, this was collapsed in 1973 through Nixon getting his people on the public broadcasting board to get them to arguing amongst themselves and eliminating programs such as this, because they no longer wanted to see blacks on TV. Blacks that just got on TV, and they didn't want them on TV anymore, right? So Soul Talk Show was really the only place where you were seeing black people on PBS coming through Net 13 from out of New York. Right?
And this is prior to Soul Train.
This is prior to Soul Train, right? This is prior to a lot of the shows. But when you watch this documentary, you can see how the people, because they were amongst their people, the energy was different. Plus, they were performing live. They weren't lip syncing like they did on Soul Train or on American Bandstand or on some of the other shows. They weren't lip syncing. They actually got to perform live. So when you watch the episodes, you get to see, you get to hear and see Earth, Wind, and Fire, young Earth, Wind, and Fire performing live for their people. The young Stevie Wonder performing live.
And they talked about how Stevie Wonder just loved the energy so much in the people. He stayed and he just performed.
He played that Superstition for a long time. They had to change the tape.
He had a good time.
He kept playing and he played the long extended version, right? And young Donny Hathaway. Matter of fact, Layla Hathaway has a song at the end of this. Layla Hathaway lays that song out. You know what I mean? So it's connecting generations, and that's what we need. We need for the generations to know what came before,
right,
so there will be no disconnect where they can destroy you finally, because that's what they want.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's a little American, that's not a little, that's the American black politics,
right,
close to the end of the show. So let's break this down.
Okay.
So the cinematography on the piece that was shot back then between 1969 and 1973, Soul
right,
talk show, Soul, right? The cinematography back then, coming on live programming, the movement of the camera, they had modern dance and they were moving the camera with the modern dancers. That's a 10,
yeah,
right? Now you get into cutting modern day interviews and cutting into that time between 69 and 73 seamlessly, sound quality,
right,
A1, that's a 10.
right,
Introducing Ellis Hazlip as a character,
right,
and the supporting characters, including people from The Last Poets, a lot of women that he put into production and producer positions on the show, where black women, where the world, the Caucasian world, has not even caught up to that yet today. You know, so setting him up and setting up the various characters that made this show happen, that's a 10. The musical performances and being able to see these acts, see the people in their authentic dress from that time period, that is a 10. I mean, you can't deny that. The mixture of politics, of poetry, of R&B, of soul, of sitting down in the interviews, right? It's the whole staging of the program itself. That's a 10. The use of talking to people who were behind the scenes then, and how they made it and how they felt about the program being canceled and what they wanted to do to keep it on, and how he differed in his opinion concerning that. The whole story lays out the narrative. That's a 10. Narrative, the through line on the story, it's a 10.
Yeah.
Everything on it is a 10.
It is.
It is a labor of love.
Yep.
His daughter, it might as well be his daughter, but his niece, Melissa Hazlip, she does her thing on this. A 10-year labor of love to bring this to the big screen, and to now to PBS on February 22nd. What do you guys say about it?
Just now when we heard a little bit of music, I had to hurry up and stop the phone, but I love Robert Glasper. He's also involved, right? And the song at the end of the documentary, you know, I said, that sounds like Layla Hathaway. And then the song is it's a beautiful song, right? And it's Show Me Your Soul.
Show Me Your Soul.
And so just listening to the song kind of just makes your eyes a little watery after watching the film, you know, after watching the documentary, and it's so overwhelming in a great way, in a positive way, like positive emotions, right? And then you're hearing this song at the end, which is powerful, and it's fitting. The title of the song, it's very fitting. And what I loved about the film, like all of the interviews were great, but I loved the discussion with James Baldwin and Sonia Sanchez.
Mm-hmm. Which happens to be up on the screen now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's just like powerful interviews, powerful poets. I love how it's well done. Disney did a beautiful job, like the timeline, because this documentary, through like the different performances and interviews, is kind of giving you it's giving you our history. You know, like you said, American Black culture, right? And the different things that's going on during that time period. And it's just well done. So that's why I said this is like our gift to our viewers. You have to watch this.
That's right. February 22nd on PBS.
Beautiful.
Or if you want to watch it before then,
right,
you go to Google, you search Mr. Soul,
right.
SOUL apostrophe website, and then take you to the website. You click it, and it gives you the option to watch the film anywhere, and for a minimal fee, you will be able to watch the film, and plus you will be supporting the filmmaker in her endeavor to not only get the film seen, heard, recognized, and appreciated, but you will also be getting this, disseminating this information out to people. You should definitely have a group of people with you to watch this when you order this film, or watch it by yourself. You will be informed. You will be, and you say, "Wow, I didn't know that was going on. I thought that only happened once BET came on in the mid '80s, right?" So what would you give Mr. Soul?
I would definitely give it a 10. If I could give it a higher, I would. I would definitely give it a 10, because I love the behind the scenes. Because what we're telling you is just like the tip of the iceberg. Because there are so many great behind the scenes stories and certain performances that had to be edited, right? And they tell you why, and then it tells you Nixon's involvement in it, right? And it's just, this is just well done. So, but if they want to see the interviews, can they also go to the Amazon Prime?
Amazon Prime, they can see the full show.
Okay, so that's what I have to go back. I want to see the full show.
By typing in Mr. Soul and then Soul, SOUL, exclamation point comes up, and it's all, I opened it up, it's all of the shows.
I have to watch them.
Right? So, I mean, you can catch up and you can see some of your favorite artists early on, young. It's not like seeing the people young. It's nothing like seeing the people young, because so many times the media uses the older picture to detach you from having connectivity with someone. But when you see the younger picture, like when you see the younger picture of Frederick Douglass, you say, "Oh." But they usually show you the old Frederick Douglass when he's old, gray, feeble. You're like, no, I don't see nothing in that. But when you see the young picture, you say, oh, I connect. And that's how they do the disconnect.
I love how, and they emphasize it in this film, his show was not watered down.
It wasn't.
Not at all.
Not at all.
So it's I think the most authentic entertainment slash talk show, but beyond entertainment, it also it was educational also, right?
Right.
And it was just like, it wasn't watered down at all. Like we said, you had the James Baldwin was on there, and you know he didn't hold his tongue, right?
Hold his tongue.
And then you had Harry Belafonte, who still to this day is the advocate for his people. And so just well done. And then you see the people. I love how they show you the people behind the scenes. This is the first time that I've seen a show where like the producers, executive producers, just everyone behind the scene are American blacks. So they're like telling their story without a filter, unfiltered, right? And just well done.
So I give Mr. Soul a 10.